Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to a video. Another paid request. This time from Fan of Eli. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, tier list, review, re-review, whatever, randomness, reaction, commentary, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. That's usually the best bet. I also do have a Patreon. Both links are down below under most of these videos. And excuse the background noise, just how it is in the middle of nowhere. There's tractors and vehicles and chickens and all sorts of stuff. And this, I don't know how anyone survives in this over 100-degree weather every single day here. That's why I need the AC and the fan. So if you hear that, that's why. Now, Extraction 2 was a fun sequel. I just put it blunt and out there and right out of the blue. I thought it was a fun sequel. I liked it. I do have some nitpicks. I do have some issues with the film. It's far from a perfect movie, but I was satisfied here while I was not with John Wick 4. Now, technically you say John Wick 4, because I was going to... Why you bring it up? Because I was going to ask me why you like this one, but not that one. Yes, you technically say John Wick 4 has more action, but at the same time, this, I thought there's one scene that's about a 20-some minute, one-take sequence that I thought was the best action scene I've seen so far this year. I thought that while I liked Keanu Reeves, he seemed a bit tired in John Wick 4. Here, I thought Chris Hemsworth did a really good job. I thought there was a little bit more to his character, where him reflecting on the death of his son. And I thought that while there are some slow, dull paces of drama, it still felt like a better paced movie compared to John Wick 4, which was almost, 2.5, almost 3 hours? It felt like almost 3 hours. This is 2 hours, boom. And also, more satisfying ending. So it didn't have a... The villains were not great, but it seems like impossible for a movie nowadays to have a great action movie villain like we had in the 80s and 90s, but some people chalk it up probably to nostalgia, but I don't know. Seems like either they're alright or, they're hateable enough, but nothing memorable. But nothing felt like a cartoon character compared to Scott Adkins in the fourth John Wick. Anyway, I know people disagree, but I don't care. It's just my opinion. And Extraction 2, it actually does something where it helps the first film. It helps the previous film, doesn't hurt it. And the case with this, I remember liking the first Extraction, but it's been probably since it first came out in 2020 that I saw that. I just remember liking the movie. Wasn't sure on the ending. This rectified that because this takes place right after the end of the first film, where our character Tyler Rake, played by Chris Hemsworth, he's been shot in the neck, wounded, he falls off the bridge, and boom, he's drifted along the water, and his buddies, his comrades, find him, get him out of there, get him to a chopper, get him to evac, get him medical attention, and then he's in the hospital, coma, however you want to put it, for about 9 or so months until he wakes up, and then he has to start rehabilitation. I do like the lady that plays his buddy, Nick. She is a strong woman, but she's not belittling the lead character throughout the entire film, like Phoebe Waller-Bridge in Indiana Jones 5. She's not, oh, I'm woman, hear me roar, feminist. She's someone who is a friend, who is an ally, who still kicks ass, but is still good support for the lead character. Doesn't try to say I'm better, overshadow. Look at that, a man and a woman working together as partners, as we help each other out. Who'd have thought that that could actually work for a movie? I liked her. I did like her character. I didn't even mind her brother. Was a yak. When I first saw him, like, I'm not sure about this guy, but as it went along, I grew to not mind him. Idris Elba's in the film, but he's only in the film for like 2 scenes. as the stranger. He doesn't even have a name in the film. But he's the guy that hires him for the mission and sets up the sequel. Which actually, after watching this, I'd be looking forward to seeing a third film. As long as they don't screw it up. And it's got some good violence. It's got some... If I remember in the first film, this felt like a bit of a bigger movie. And like I said, I do have some issues and stuff, but overall, really did like this movie. And I guess with the slim pictures of this year, I probably would call it my favorite film of the year. Like I said, it takes place after the end of the first movie. He gets rescued. He's at a cabin in Austria, relaxing. He has a dog. He even buys some chickens you think to eat, but he has them as pets. Which, I mean, I know the feeling. Meanwhile, his ex-wife, her sister and sister's kids are in trouble because her sister was with this crime lord. The kept saying Georgia prison, and I thought it was Georgia, like the South. This is how stupid I am. It took me like 5 minutes to realize, oh shit, they don't mean Georgia, like the south of, in the South here. It's Georgia over there, overseas. Because I'm like, man, nobody's having a southern accent. What kind of Georgia is this? But yeah, that's how stupid I am. I didn't realize it was the other fucking Georgia. So him, Nick, her brother, the three of them are going to go in to get this mom and her 2 kids out of this prison, away from this crime lord, for the extraction, and then the movie goes on from there. Now, like I said, I like Chris Hemsworth in this role. Strong. Again, I like Keanu Reeves in the John Wick films, I do. By the 4th film, he seemed a bit tired. Not the case in this, with Chris Hemsworth. He seemed on his game. He has some nice little moments remembering his son. And this bit of, he wasn't there for his son. He knew his son was sick. And he couldn't face him, so he went off to battle. And there's a few little scenes here and there that are nice to see. How do I go further without spoiling it? There's like a 20-some minute one-take scene that is definitely the highlight of the film. I thought was, like I said, my favorite action scene of the year. Easily. It does create a bit of an issue because the movie never gets up to that level again. It kind of, to put it harshly or raunchy, it shoots his load too quickly. I think, but at the same time, there were still some action scenes afterward that I did enjoy. It's just that usually the best action scene you want to save for the end of the film, but here was in the first half of the film. But there were still some pretty decent ones afterward. There's still some scenes that made me go, yeah! Like I said, the villain, he's hateable enough, but, nothing that will be memorable. Another crime lord with an accent. And again, sadly we don't see the Alan Rickmans or the Lance Henriksons or such of today like we did back in the 90s and 80s. The Jeremy Irons, all that stuff. There is a teenage son, who, he was one of the things I disliked in the film the most. He was what I call dumb dipshit syndrome. He does some dumb dipshit things, and I really wanted him to get shot in the head until he was dead. And I'm supposed to feel sorry for this kid, and I don't. I would not feel sorry for him if he got bulldozed like that kid in Maximum Overdrive. I would say that was the biggest flaw of the film, and the stuff with him creates some dull moments in the movie of drama. So it's not a flawless movie. It's not a flawless sequel. Is it better than the first one? Again, I haven't seen the first one in a while, so I'd have to rewatch it again. But I thought there was enough entertainment value. I thought that for the most part, I was interested to see what was going on. It was a fairly good looking film, some really nice stunt work, and it left me wanting more in a good way. It left me wanting another entry in this franchise. But at the end, the spoilers. I mean, I like the fact that the first time we see the bad guy, he's arguing with someone, and he takes a fucking pitchfork and he stabs the guy in the neck. Okay. Never did you see pitchfork foo, but okay, that was cool. I like that, Chris Hemsworth's character lived, and they show how he lived. They didn't just cop out and we're not going to show you. No, they show that he's bleeding, and there's the team and evac. At least they show us, so they don't treat the audience like idiots. It'd be like, don't worry about that. Yeah, he just cut away. I mean, he just say by chat. No, they show us how. I appreciate that. It gives more of a link and synced up with the first movie. I like little bits, for example, when, like I said, he's in the Austria cabin relaxing. He has a dog. He picks up chickens you think to eat, but then has them as pets. I thought that was kind of funny. It's always nice to see Idris Elba in there. I wish he was in the film more, but Idris Elba, it's still nice to see him. Which makes me curious if he's in the third film and they give him more to do. That'd be pretty cool. Because sometimes in these sequels, it's like, well, okay, here's an actor, and then maybe they'll give him more to do. Maybe he'll be in on the action next time. Maybe not. Who knows? Like I said, I like the friendship he has with this Nick lady. I thought they worked well together. She's not bitchy. She's not annoying. She's helpful. She's supportive. But she's not trying to overtake the movie from the lead character, and there's no agenda, and there's no bullshit of that happening. There's some fun lines when he first meets Idris Elba, and he's at his place, and Chris is like, how about you put the cup down, get in your car, and fuck off. I did like that type of demeanor, which is understandable, just what that character went through in the first movie, where he's a bit unsure. You get a little bit of montage where you do a bit of his Rocky 4. He's out in the woods training to get better for this mission, this extraction, to help his ex-wife's sister and her family. And then the extraction bit, like I say, it felt like 30 minutes in a good way, but I guess it's over 20 minutes where he goes to the prison, gets the family, and just really cool, badass stuff in that. That, like I said, is my favorite action scene of the whole year. There's a guy he's fighting, he's getting beat up, but he takes the guy's hand and he does this, and it breaks the fucking hand and like a wishbone in two. Really nasty effect where this is like split apart. He like stabs the guy in the neck. And then he gets the kids to safety, but he has his ex-wife's sister, and throughout the prison, now they're in this riot with all these people around, and there's like people all around him, and he's like shooting this guy with a pistol, and then shooting them all with the machine gun, and then getting a knife and stabbing a guy in the fucking stomach 5 times. Then gets a pipe and hitting people in the fucking pipe. He gets hit, and he's like falls to the ground. Again, this is all supposed to look like one take, which is, I'm always intrigued by. People call it gimmick, but it's a fucking gimmick I really do enjoy, with how it's implemented and how it can be done, and it's a very tough thing to do, to hide the cuts, because you have to hide these edits, and it's interesting when they do it. So he gets up and he gets like a police shield. He's fucking smacking people in the face. And then he blots this fire, and his fucking arm is on fire. And he's fucking punching people in the face while his arm's on fire. Poo, 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 poo. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. Well, yeah. Fuck him up. And there's even a bit like he gets a fucking dumbbell from the weight part of the prison yard, and he hits a guy in the face, breaks his fucking nose, and then gets her out of the prison, and they go through like this factory. They have these cars, they have a car chase, and it's all, again, made to look like in one take, one shot. And he has this like little gun that's like a grenade launcher and shooting at people. And then that gets into a fucking train. And on the train, he gets like a heavy machine gun. He goes in, he shoots down a fucking helicopter. And then he fucks up these 3 guys. And then the lady Nitch, she's fucked up some guys. And then he gets on a fucking top of the train. He gets a fucking minigun. He takes care of the second helicopter. I'm like, this is over the top escapism, but at the same time, nothing is. CGI is used, which I understand, because you have helicopter, it's supposed to look like one take, and it's crashing. You don't want a Twilight Zone, the movie incident. So it's understandable, but there's enough practical good choreography, stunt work that makes me excited, and nothing that looked too much of a parody. I did like some of the stuff, like John Wick 4, when John was going down the stairs for 5 minutes like a Donkey Kong barrel, or he's playing Frogger in the street. And a fucking dog, CGI dog, is bouncing off the fucking cars like a pinball machine. And that's just me, though. If you disagree, oh well. But that was just a rousing scene that it's so good, it's almost too good, where, again, the rest of the movie could never compare to that. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, you've sold me, movie, you've sold me. And now we're like about halfway through the film. So they take this family to these towers. They're going to try to get them on a plane. But again, the teen kid, one of the people killed was his dad. So he's upset about that. Even though, again, he's got dumb dipshit syndrome. Where I'm thinking, well, kid, you really think it was okay to live in a fucking prison? Well, he said he gives some dumb excuses for his. As his mom even tells him how fucking stupid he is. You're naive. You're stupid. I'm like, good. Made me like the mom character. Good. Yeah. Should punch him in the face. And there's even his dad's dead, so he tells his uncle, who's the main villain, and he finds where they're at because the dumb dipshit teen did it. And this is where I really hate this character. I'm like, I hope this character gets shot in the face. Because even to the point where, and again, this is the big flaw of the movie for me. There's even a point where the bad guys come and they fucking shoot up the floor where him, his little sister, his mom, and Chris Hemsworth them are at. And he still leaves his mom to go to his fucking uncle. I'm like, they just tried to kill you, motherfucker. They almost killed your little sister. They almost killed your mom. I don't give a fuck what your reason is. Shoot you in the face. I wish this Terry got shot in the face. He's a fucking dumb dipshit. I'm like, you fucking idiot. They tried to. They were in a helicopter with a goddamn minigun in the whole floor, including at you, your sister, and your mom. If someone tries to minigun me, I don't want to fucking go towards them. Unless it's with a minigun of my own, and I'll shove it in his face, and all painless is gonna be meeting him in heaven and hell. There's gonna be so many fucking bullets that he's gonna die 10 times. Half the time he go to heaven, half the time he go to hell. He don't end in hell by the time the final bullet of all painless is in his fucking throat. After, the 8,252 bullet. You stupid little fuck. Throw his ass off this fucking tower in a fucking big old. Bam! That was the worst part of the movie for me. I wish that character was not in it. Or I wish it was like written better. That stupid little motherfucker. But despite that major flaw, it is a major flaw. I still rooted for Chris Hemsworth's character. I mean, I like Daylight, and most of the people Stallone had to say for dipshits as well. I just felt sorry for Stallone. Here, I just felt sorry for Chris Hemsworth. And he doesn't shoot him because he's a good guy. He's better than me, because I would have shot that motherfucker. But he's fucking two people up in a... each action scene worked for me because there's enough of that little cool factor that made me remember. Like, he's fighting two people in a parking lot, and it may be brief, but he's like being the shadow guy, takes his fucking grenades, leaves them there, walks away, boom, explosion behind him. Or there's a bit where he's getting the mom and the little girl out, who are worth a shit. I like the little girl. I like this. Again, it has this nice little moments. Like, there's a bit where he's fighting some guys. He's in an elevator. He sees a little girl. He winks at her, and she's like winking back at him. I wish there was more about the little girl. Like, take the fucking kid, little teen kid, get the fuck out of there, and just have him and this little girl. They relate to each other. Where the Chris Hemsworth kid died. Here's a kid he's protecting. Just go with that. Fuck the teen kid. Or be ballsy and have him be a bad guy and he gets himself killed by his own naive stupidity. That would have been ballsy, and I would have commended the film for that. But it has a nice little moments. There's a bit in a weight room where his friend Nick is in trouble because she and this bad guy are fighting on this glass. Well, actually, she's knocked out on this glass ceiling, and she's sliding slowly off the building. And he's trying to get her, but he's trying to fight these guys, and he like hits a thing. This weight comes down and crushes this guy. He takes a guy, slams him down on the treadmill, and he flies off into this glass, into the floor below. I can't even talk right. He gets up there. He gets wounded by the asshole villain, but then she wounds the bad guy. Then the bad guy falls through the fucking glass, or almost falls through it. And then Chris Hemsworth, the guy, are fighting back and forth on it. And while again, it never gets to level that one take shot, it still was enjoyable. And like I said, it's Chris Hemsworth and the buddy Nick. I said spoilers, but more spoilers. Her brother, who is... The reason I grew to like him is not so much he had much of a personality, character development, but more of his actions. Trying to do the right thing, holding his own, and still hanging in there. So his actions is what made me like him, and then also made me feel sorry for him when he does get killed off. So I thought that was a nice little emotional bit. More than I felt anywhere in John Wick 4, honestly. And this bit in the finale where he's going to meet the guy at this airfield. And I wish the ending was longer. I wish the ending was a longer action sequence. Daniel Bernhardt is in the film. He pops up fucking everywhere. I mean, he was in John Wick. He was in Nobody. He was in this movie. Was he in Day Shift? I'm trying to remember. I don't think he was. He's like popping up everywhere. Like every action film, it's cool, but it's like, damn. They don't get into a big fight, but it's like a little scuffle, and he's able to shoot Daniel Bernhardt in the head. I wish it was longer, but I do like that he has his grenade launcher, and he's just fucking going to town with a grenade launcher. He goes, shoots, he blows up this fucking plane. He's over here, blows up this fucking plane. Blows up a few people here. They should have added one thing where there's like a guy, and he turns and just blows up the guy in bloody chunks. I'm like, they needed that one more extra hoo-yah, you know. That's why I wish it was a bit longer. So then Chris Hemsworth and then his friend Nick followed him, and Chris Hemsworth gets a bit of a brutal fight with the bad guy. They're fighting back and forth. And sorry about the background noise. People doing like tractor stuff. But due to his background noise, due to his background noise, fucking background, did fucked up stuff. They're doing the background noise in the movie, and then. And like again, even this fight, I wish was a bit longer. But he's able to get some, like, there's a bit where it seems like he's going to get this hammer, which I thought would be a cool bit that, like, this is how Thor would really hurt someone. But sadly, they don't go that route. I wish, if you're not going to do it, don't tease it. I would say, like, don't tease him using a hammer and then not use it. Come on, man. Come on. But he does fuck up the bad guy a bit, including when he's crawling, like stabbing the guy in the leg and stabbing the guy in the back. And then when they're laying there, the guy's talking, he takes a gun and just shoots the guy. Like, fuck you. Like I said, my issues with the film is I wish the ending was a longer action sequence with a little bit more body count. I wish the villain, have a villain with a little bit more personality. And the teenage son, I didn't feel sorry for him. Like, at the end, he's got, like, the bad guy put him in one of those explosive vests. I'm like, please explode. Can that vest explode, please? I didn't feel sorry for that teen kid. I wanted that character to die and get killed off. So, like I said, it has its flaws. It's not one of the great sequels or anything. But, again, Chris Hemsworth's performance, some of the nice big set pieces, the 20-some minute one-take scene especially takes the cake. Not being a detriment to the first film, but being a good follow-up, fixing the ending of the first one, at least in my opinion. Nice bit at the end where the two, he gets a bit of closure with his ex-wife, I thought the ex-wife, which I recognize the actress, she was, I think, Olga, she's the girl in that Hitman movie with Timothy Olyphant. But I like that she tells Chris Hemsworth, you keep blaming yourself, but your son, he didn't see you walk out. He saw you going to help people. And when he was, the last moments he said, I hope I'm as brave as, what was the line? I want to be brave like Dad. That was a nice little scene, and Chris Hemsworth has some nice emotion on his face. Gives a nice little bit of closure on that bit. Those two, him and Nick, get out of prison. There's Idris Elba. Don't go to another mission. I want you to meet someone. And then that's for the next movie. Which is a good way to do it, because it gives me curiosity. Who could that be? Doesn't leave on a downer note. That's more to my liking. What can I say? That's more to my liking. I did like that. So, yeah, this was a fun, entertaining sequel that was fairly well staged, competently directed, and makes me curious to see more. So, again, I wish if it fixed those little nitpicks I had, it'd be even grander. But I'll probably put like Day Shift and Nobody above this, but this is still a fun sequel, and I didn't feel nearly as disappointed as I did with John Wick 4. John Wick 4, to me, the actions got so long, they got repetitive and boring, and I already did my review of John Wick 4. Anyway, people disagree, oh well. This was more my cup of tea. So that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you later. Bye bye.